welcome to MRCX. Fingers crossed we are now live on YouTube as we take you around the track. Yeah, so what we've got tonight is we've got Connor Hardy next to me in the comms box. I'll just very quickly take you through the formula that we're going to have tonight. So it's a 100% race, reverse grid. So you'll see the Challenger tier, the people at the back of the Challenger tier will be on pole, whereas the leader of the Elite tier will start in 20th place. And like I said, I've got Connor Hardy beside me tonight, one of the founders of MRCX. What do you think we're going to see in this race tonight, Connor, and why did you come up with this formula?
Well, I think this formula sort of brings you, you know, it means now all the guys, like you've got Gav, Jackster, Danny, all in a sensational fight for that. Well, even Scottish Ninja as well, all in a sensational fight for that Challenger tier title. These guys got to make their way forwards cleanly, while sort of not losing too much time to the likes of, you know, the guys fighting for the tier 1 title in single track, Dynamite, Saviour, Bailey, G-Star, all of them who are going to be rioting their way through the field to try and get the most championship points they can possibly get. So it's a massive conundrum, but this is also a track where it's extremely difficult to overtake, so it's going to have to be you're going to have to play the waiting game, but that's why there's 100% distance for them to do that. Yeah,
I think you've picked an absolutely fantastic track for this format, because if you pick Monaco, of course, then everybody's just waiting for the pit stops and somebody will go out and try and do hards all the way until the last lap. But around Japan, it's challenging to get past, but it's certainly not impossible. And that's what you want to see. I think that those at the back, like G-Star, like Bailey, like Saviour, we all know that they can do a few passes on the night. They're not going to be shy, and I'll be really interested to see what they're able to do tonight. I'm just going to wait and see the grid lines up. I'm going to take all the graphics off the screen.
Yeah, it's also a very, like, historic track, so it's one that these people will love to drive.
Oh, it's so much fun. I'm sure we'll get loads of time to talk about the ups and downs and the left to right Suzuka, but now as the final driver lines up on the grid, just ready for the first light and ready to go racing. Here we go. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we're away. Here we go. Let's see who's out of the first. That's a very good start from Mezo there, getting the jump on Ghost Rider. And as we see, I think it's Geke Magic had a bit of a bad start. He's falling back down the screen, but let's see who we've got into the first corners. Anybody making one of the big moves at the back? I don't think we've got anybody. There's a yellow flag already in Sector 1. It might be Johnny Smooth, unfortunately, who's come a cropper.
Yeah,
at the back.
It is.
But I think we've got lots of people a line astern. I'm going back through the field. Is there anybody side by side? There's a yellow. We've got Morphy at 11
Martin
thinking about it.
Timber both round.
Ah, right, that's what the yellow's for. So they've come together. You were talking about how important it was to get a good start around here. That's not been it. Kid Dynamite making a move on Saviour, is it? He's up into 14th place as those two. We all know how quick those can be. It's going to be so important that these drivers don't trip up over themselves, because they know that there's there's slower drivers in front of them. No offence, but this is a reverse grid race, so you don't want to hold each other up with that. So we've got Night Shadow and RFC Danny. Look at this, so many cars on the track now. 8, 9, 10. We've got 2 wide as we've got Jackster going side by side with RFC Danny. Muscles his ear out there, and he's up into 9th place, round into Spoon. Gosh, there's an awful lot of action already on this lap 1.
I just want to point out quickly, look at the start Mark Hodgson made, and he's side by side with Geke Matthew. Are they going to be together into 130R? No, Mark just about clears him before, but that is not, they shouldn't go side by side.
But that's an incredible start. Let's try and get out. I got the tire. Let's try and get the position
he's
change then.
Places.
Crikey, yes. That's a very good start from Mark then. Who's had a nightmare? That was Johnny Smooth down 12, Simba down 6, Single Track down 3. Obviously have that coming together. And now let's go back down the field. Let's do Scottish Ninja.
We're going to be 3 abreast on the pit straight between Kid, Bit and Chris Bailey, or maybe even 4. No, we're not quite going to get there.
Oh, blimey.
Tensibly backed out, thank goodness.
Yeah, no, there's loads of battles happening right down the field. He talked about patience at the start. Nobody's being patient at the moment. They desperately want that place. And I think, unfortunately, that's a car round. That's back Mezo, who's got round, so he was our pole sitter. But now he finds himself back at the rear of the field, or at least in 18th place. Yeah, he'll have to start to get some focus, and fingers crossed he'll get back.
But Mezo's round again. Simba luckily managed to, he ghosted just about in front of Simba just to save Simba from,
Look at these two, Mark and Ghost Rider, side by side. They're sort of tangled in with each other. But sure, then we've got a car off in the background as everybody tries to go through that hairpin safely. I think it's Nuts who's lost out there and he's going back down the field. But yeah, no, it is Simba up into second place on those softs, trying to make the most of the softer tyre on this opening stint. We clearly think that's a good strategy just to get through the traffic as quick as possible. Remember, he will have to pit a lot earlier. Go back. I'm going to go back on board with Gav, who's all over the back of Geke Matthews. They go down the long straight. We know that Gav favours a skinnier setup. And boy, look at him just blast past. Is it going to be 2 for 1 though? Because Jackster's having a little think about it as well. Oh! Jackster's round! Oh gosh, there's a load of carbon fibre around there. And Geke Matthews.
Out.
I don't know what's happened. I'm going to go back. Gosh, there's a lot. Look, there's one car on the side, another one starting to make its way.
Wow.
There's going to be a huge contact. Lorpy's got a penalty there for a severe collision with Dynamite. Fingers crossed there's not too much damage on either of those cars, but that
was a humongous crash.
That was chaos. I just saw it on the stream.
Geke a little bit there. He seemed a bit like the innocent party. He just kind of got a bit like Gav's move was totally fair, but I think Gav's move sort of sparked a bit of a chain reaction behind where I think Jackson may have lost a bit of time. Well, he did, because he's dropped a lot of places and it's now led to a bit of a disaster for Geke, but that was a very big impact and I bet Geke's really gutted after that. But I just want to make a point about Mark. Look at where Mark is, and his nearest contender from his tier is in P9.
That's incredible, isn't it? I'm trying to see which if was Geke in contention for any of the championships. I'm trying to see if he is on any of the. He was doing. Oh no, he was 11th in the Challenger tier, so maybe not too much lost, in the championship tonight. But that's a great shame that you want to come here, you want to do 100%.
Isn't it really that he's lost out on there?
Yeah. So let's go through the field then. Has anybody? We've had a couple of pit stops already. Yeah. So we've had those three at the back there: Johnny Smooth, Single Track, and Back Mazo taking that early pit stop, and they're the ones on. All have decided to go for a fresh set of hards.
Yeah, I think quite a lot of them had damage, and that's probably prompted their pit stop as well.
Yeah.
So
it's not.
It was that was not a nice accident to see, personally. I've just realised though, part of the reason for Mark's start could be the fact that he's on the soft tyres.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be a bad strategy, does it? I think Simba was also. Oh no, sorry, Mark was the one who. Yeah, it was. I think I called him Simba earlier because I was getting my marks confused. But yeah, Mark is on the softer tyre. Clearly decided that, yeah, that's the best way to get through the field. And, as we said, if we have a look at the position change, he's up 11 spots all the way to P2. Other big winners there, Gav up from 10th up to 5th place. He is, of course, the leader of the Challenger tier. So he's got, maybe...
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the great news for Gav is as well, his nearest title contender was caught up in that mess and he's now down in P3.
Oh gosh, yes, yeah, no, so really great news for him, particularly as we're getting into sort of, what are we in, round 8 now. You're starting to get into the business end of the season. You don't want the person at the front getting away too far because you're just going to run out of races or be putting loads and loads more pressure upon yourself. I think I remember, was it you had a championship decider around Suzuka one year, and even though you won it, you ended up coming second, was that right, despite one of the races of your life?
Yeah, I had the most hectic race. Well, I got a 5 place grid penalty in qualifying and then hit a curb and made contact with Rob Smith. It wasn't his fault in any way, it was a racing incident totally.
Yeah.
And I went into him, spun round, was last by I think 28 seconds, and somehow on probably the track I'm weakest at managed to win.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he was on Comfort and actually gave driver of the day. That meant a lot. But
I mean, well, hey, it's easy to give someone driver of the day when they perform that well and go all the way from last to first. So yeah, it's a great track.
It was gutting that it didn't keep me in the title. I didn't manage to take it to the last race after such it is probably my greatest drive I've ever done.
But that's all you need to do, isn't it? Like if you go away and you think, right, I gave it everything and I won. And hey, I know it still wasn't enough, but there's nothing more you could have done. It was just all about what the other driver did on the day. So yeah, you can hold your head up high, isn't it? It's always like.
Well, the incident that I had kind of helped me because it forced me into changing my strategy, which then worked my way for the safety car.
Yes, and sometimes I think we're going to see a lot of, we had our first safety car of the night here. I think how you use the safety car when you decide to get off those tyres. Obviously it's 100%, so fewer are going to hit this early and go on to a harder compound. As I wondered if we were going to get the safety car in this lap. It doesn't. Oh, yeah, no, that's a late call. That is a late call, so let's go on board with Donny. Remember, Donny being a Challenger Tier driver, he's going to have Mark Hodgson sniffing all over the back of him, and look how close Mark's getting there.
That is never fun, is it? We know how good Mark is in these situations. So.
He's just like a shark. He can smell blood, and they're away. And I just was looking at that delta. It's already coming down. It was holding. It was down about a tenth of a second. Still coming down, but I don't think Mark's going to have the run on him. It's Night Shadow who's got the run on Scottish Ninja and into that first corner. He's already ahead. Look at that as the leader of the Challenger tier goes up from 5th to 4th. Who's the spinner in front? Oh, goodness me, that's
Ghost Rider, and now Gav's round as well.
Yeah,
he tried to avoid him and just went flying.
Yeah, he just got caught up in the rough. And oh, it's Mark. Mark's also round. And that's damage. I don't know if he's just lost it going through the S's there, but goodness me, both drivers I've focused on, ever so sorry. It's the curse of the commentator once more.
These cold tyres are catching people out a little bit here, because Mark's place to go was very, very strange, but it is easy to do. But soft tyres not warming up, that sort of, I do wonder if there was contact, potentially.
Yeah, no, so that's very odd. So unfortunately, Mark finds himself back in P18 after an amazing start. Gav also back in P18. I think there is damage to Mark's car. I saw a bit of carbon fibre, so both of them will be struggling back, potentially to the pits. So goes Deck Tanazu's G-Star, and Bit is it having a move? I think G-Star was able to get that move done, and remember, he is the leader in our elite tier. And he's made it all the way up to 11th, and not quite the manic start that Mark had, but he's keeping it clean. He finds himself behind Bailey, behind Xavier, behind Kid Dynamite, who are our leading elite drivers, but it's a fairly steady start.
I'll tell you what is absolutely mouth-watering, though, having Xavier, Chris Bailey and G-Star, the top three in the championship, all together on track.
Oh yes it is, look at these guys going, and that's Xavier, who is all up the gearbox of Lorpy in front. He's thinking of making a move, he goes alongside. Remember, there is no DRS at the moment as we wait to get around, and look at that, Xavier shoots into view up into P8, excellent, and now he'll just hope that Lorpy is a bit of a cork in the bottle to Chris Bailey behind. How much time can he make up on the lap and gap between his other elite rival? Where else have we got battles up on the field? I'm going to go back to...
just sped in the pit lane as well, got 5 seconds, that is...
bad for worse, isn't it?
What, the man that's leading for the elite tier at the minute, and he's come out of nowhere and sort of caught me off guard, is Keizer Soze, the defending Challenger tier champion.
Oh yes.
He's actually leading the way at the minute with the elite boys.
Yeah, no, he's been very consistently on that medium tyre. A lot of the others deciding to go for a harder tyre. Chris Bailey is maybe the one who's off strategy at the moment on the medium, but he finds himself behind those hard runners of Kid Dynamite and Xavier. He's been all over the back.
Dispatch Lorpy as well, because it's gonna... Otherwise Xavier could end up getting away, and obviously that is the last thing Chris wants, being on the alternative strategy to those guys.
Correct, yeah, I think we'll find that we have the DRS available at the end of this lap. So now he wants to make the move. Side by side, what can he do as they head towards his fast flowing left-hander? You've got to be so careful, make sure you leave the space, and yes...
There was contact.
There was, I didn't know, like, it was you don't break round that corner, but Lorpy just seemed to be the one who played a game of chicken, and it was Lorpy who pulled out first.
To back out, and Chris may have understeered slightly, but I think it's racing, and go through there. If you can get through there without making contact, you deserve credit.
Yeah, so, no, it is excellent. Kid Dynamite up into P6, past Ghost Rider, so once again, our elite drivers making their way through the field very steadily on lap 7 out of 53, so wasting no time. Still a lot of time in this race to get up the field. You see Johnny Smooth go past Bit up into 13th place as well. Keizer Soze, like you said, our top running elite driver, but he will start to get hunted down by Kid Dynamite. I think it's crucial for him that he gets past Scottish Ninja, who is now just edging his way. I think he's going to be out of the DRS zone, perhaps, from Mutt's Nuts. He's going to be desperate to keep in that switch team. What have we got back there? There seems to be 2 cars in Sector 1, side by side.
It's Carl. Carl's just gone round.
Carl and
in
Johnny's
sector 1. Yeah.
smooth, unfortunately. So fingers crossed those two can recover.
Oh, Johnny's just gone really wide and decked the one, and now Gav got past.
Oh.
Wow, he got lucky to not spin there.
Shame, but at least that's more drama avoided from Gav. I'm going to stick on board with Kid Dynamite, who is sizing up Kaiser Soze here. Look at that, he's going to go around side. Look at the difference in speed there between the two drivers. He gets that move done so easily and so quickly. I don't know what his setup is, if it's a little bit skinnier, but maybe Kaiser Soze...
Johnny spun!
Oh.
He's had a moment, the race leader has had a spin.
Oh yes, you're right. And look, he's going back down the field. Scottish Ninja past. Johnny down into fourth.
Well.
Ah, right, so maybe he picked up a little bit of damage there.
The soft tyres, I was just about to bring up, I wonder how long those softs are going to go, but yeah, he's got a wing change, he's hit the wall. Oh, you've got to feel for him. He had a 3-second gap before that as well.
Yeah, maybe those softs not lasting quite as long as you'd like, and he's the last of the soft runners, so now you see the tyre graphic on the left-hand side. It is all medium and hard runners as the race will start to even out a little bit more. I'm going to go back. I know that Kid Dynamite is all over the back of Scottish Ninja, but I'm also interested in Chris Bailey up into 8th place.
Sorry, just quickly, Donny has actually secured himself a 2-stop because he's got to the mediums, which are obviously not going to get to the end, so he's gone for the 2-stop. Carl's also just pitted for softs as well, and so is Jackster for mediums. Yeah,
I think in the 100% race format that you're going to see more people opting for the two-stop. I think 50% one-stop is the obvious option, but more laps, more time to be found, you know, on the circuit. The lap's still the same length, be it 50% or 100%, but you can make a two-stop work, particularly if you've got more safety cars around here. As Kid Dynamite, I've just missed that, but Kid Dynamite is blasted past Scottish Ninja. I don't know how skinny that car is, but clearly he's got an advantage on a lot of cars. As we look at this train, Kaiser Soze, Saviour and Ghost Rider all nose astern, and it's Saviour who's going to have a little look as there's Kaiser Soze in front. Muscles his way past Scottish Ninja. Gosh, goodness me.
That was brave on the brake from Kaiser Soze. Very, very respectful from Scottish Ninja. But that was incredible. But Mark Nuts has just taken the lead from Daniel.
Excellent move there. I was just on board with Saviour, who makes it an even worse time for Scottish Ninja, losing 2 places in about 4 corners. So he finds himself down in 6th position. And that's the problem. If you're one of these challenger drivers, it's not going to get any easier for you because you just have faster and faster drivers behind you, and the next person behind Scottish Ninja is going to be Chris Bailey, who's made his way past Ghost Rider. And again, he finds himself in a position where he needs to stick with Kaiser Soze and Saviour.
In the wall.
Oh, where's that? That's on the S's. I'm going to go back, see if we've got Donny on board.
He's just about survived. He's still going, but he's lost his wing totally. But now I think it's Gav right directly behind him.
Yeah, he's got all yellows, but I can't see a yellow dot. So I think that's brought out the virtual, which is just going to slow down the field and allow us to catch our breath just a little here.
That was a total loss of traction. I caught it right at the end for Simba, and it just looked like a total loss of traction. And once it goes around here, you're not catching it, sadly.
No, you're not. And was it on those curbs on the S's? They can be so dangerous, can't they? You just get one wheel on the grass that you're not quite sure of. I know that Simba is in cockpit view, and it's a view that you've got to be really aware of how wide your car is and where it is on the circuit, because if not, then yeah, you'll find yourself pointing in the wrong direction very, very quickly if you're not careful. Yeah. But this safety...
I do like these liveries tonight, though. Very Japanese inspired.
Any you'd like to focus as just as race control, says DRS is enabled and the virtual safety car is gone.
With livery chat.
That's fine. Kid Dynamite side by side almost with RMC Danny.
Wow!
That's a ballsy move. But there's one person who can get it done. It's him, and it's upped into P2. Where did he start?
Not good. That's not. He was down in P6. 17.
Yeah, so he's made up a fair few spots, and I think it's been an excellent drive to find yourself this far up the grid already by...
I think Simba had rear wing damage and may have gone in the pits potentially, so...
Yeah, that's unfortunately, it looks like he's retired on my screen, so...
He did take a big clout on the rear wing, so I would be surprised if he didn't.
That is a shame. So that is a early bar for Simba, so now we've got 18 remaining with 43 laps left. Back down the field, let's see who else where our battles are. I'm going to stick on board with Chris Bailey, who once again is all over the back of Scottish Ninja. Is he going to get the move done already, even before what he is? Look at that, that was just too easy. Maybe Scottish Ninja just felt, no, this is not my fight tonight, I'm going to let him pass. And fingers crossed I can hold on to the DRS in front as he moves up into 6th position. Now where are our battles?
The boss man got kicked early, and I don't know if he's back in the session because he's just put a YouTube chat that he needs an invite. So I'm just checking if he's in the session.
Okay.
We seem to have had a bit of a disaster so far with Simba. Apparently he had contact with someone before and then lost it with cold tyres, and that's what caused him to go round again and lose his wing. So
that is a shame. I am on board with Kaiser Soze. Saviour, though, behind him. Is Saviour going to be the one to make the move on Kaiser Soze? Oh my goodness, he does. You just see the twitch of that car as he went round the first corner. Somehow he's able to keep it facing the right direction, and he's up into P4. Chris Bailey in P6 now, as well as he just... Oh, look at that, as he tries desperately to hold on.
Fastest lap from Chris as well. Ghost Rider's big kick. That's a massive shame for him. I'll get him an invite sorted so he can get back in.
Yeah, I think Mark was hosting, so it's Simba hosting, so I think if he's moved out the session, then we'll just have to migrate host. Fingers crossed we won't see any glitches caused by that.
Weird because it's not letting me invite, it just says an error has occurred, so let's hope he can get back in.
Let's stay on board with Chris Bailey here. He's the closest battle on track, and look, he doesn't use that hairborne to pass, but it's all about the speed, the exit you can get out. And now he's going to hunt down Kaiser Soze. They're going to go side by side, almost into Spoon. But look at that. So much more confidence in the car. Amazing. It just seems planted. Yeah, excellent move there from Chris Bailey.
To go into Spoon as well, that's a very, very brave pace because it's such a long left-hander, isn't it? It's sort of 2 corners into 1. So...
yeah, you've got to nail...
You've got to be...
very confident, nail like both apexes essentially. You can lose so much time if your exit is compromised. You're on to the longest, one of the longest sort of like straight power sections on the track, so you've got to get it right, and he has. And that gap now just extending a little for Kaiser Soze. Bailey might be worried that that gap to Saviour ahead.
Making a move on Danny.
See, let's look at that once again. Great textbook move. And it's Mutts Nuts ahead.
I don't know how much of this track you've done personally though, but I find the outside overtake easier into turn 1 around Japan rather than the inside one.
You can carry a lot of speed through there, and then you have the inside into the first section of the S's, which does make it slightly easier. I think turn number 1 is all about confidence. If you've got no confidence, you sort of hug that inside apex and just pray, whereas the really quick boys go, no, I can go just as fast around the outside, and we've seen it a lot tonight, particularly from Saviour, who we know is no slouch, and that's up into a podium position already by lap 12. Once again, it's how much can Kid Dynamite make on Mutts Nuts? I'd expected Kid Dynamite to be sort of lost up the road, but Mutts Nuts is putting in a good performance. That gap holding at around about 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, definitely.
As the field starts to spread out a little bit now. Once again, and apologies, I am just going to stick with Chris Bailey for the moment because it's one of the closest battles on track, as well as Saviour. Saviour's really eyeing up Mutts Nuts. Is he going to make the move before the DRS section? He's tucked into that slipstream. I think he's just going to bide his time here. He's not looking for any late lunge.
Go on, these guys. The stressful thing for Chris is though, like Saviour's giving Danny DRS, so it's not so easy for Chris to get past at the minute.
That's right. I'm on board with Saviour now, and look at that overspeed. He's going to take the inside line, keeps it just in between the white lines, and has to fiddle about the gears a little bit, but he's up into P2. It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Cool. That could have been very costly.
No, but that's the difference between a good driver and a great driver, isn't it? He realised his mistake, just got off the loud pedal and allowed the car to settle. And with it, he might not be the smoothest overtake, but he is into P2 and only has 1 car to catch, but it is the car of our race leader, Kid Dynamite. Obviously, an ex-MRCX. Is he the MRCX champion as well, Kid Dynamite? He certainly won
Kid
a couple
Dynamite,
of championships.
yes.
Yeah.
I think he No, Xavier won it last season. I think Kid was the season before.
Yeah. Oh, Chris Bailey and RFC Danny. Chris Bailey had to take a very strange line through that hairpin, and he's almost just trying to do everything he can to avoid RFC Danny, but he is through and up into P4. The elite drivers showing that they're like Max Verstappen tonight. They don't need that much, that many laps to catch up. As again, one of the people who started right at the back of the grid finds himself up in P4 already. Excellent work.
Yeah, this field is starting to really spread out now and become very, very intriguing because we've got a mixture of... I'll tell you something, the most interesting part about this is the two leaders... Oh, Jackster's round.
Yeah, that's
just as I was about to talk about him. But, yeah, the interesting bit is you've got the two leading guys of the Challenger tier currently battling for the last places on the grid.
Yes, you have Night Shadow and Jackster, so remember, it's got a long way to go this race. We're only on lap 14 out of 53. Another safety car could bunch the field up together. Crucial thing you've got to do is stay on that lead lap, I would, if you find yourself languishing at the back. You don't have any big spins.
This round.
Oh, yes, he is. And it's just the S's section. Let's see how he can rejoin as we've got Yellow's Lorby's there. I think that's going to be fine.
Big gap. He should. Oh, he's round again.
Whoa.
It's cold tyres.
Yeah.
Over hot tyres. Sorry, not cold tyres. Yes. Oh, it's such a shame. But I tell you something. This is huge for Danny now. He's the man in P3. As things stand, he may take the lead of the Challenge Tier Championship here.
That would be excellent work. I mean, it shows again how important consistency is around here. Jackster, Night Shadow, all getting sort of involved in a few incidents early on. You can keep your nose clean. It's one of those things, isn't it? Yeah, it's just don't touch that throttle for too long around here. Just allow your tyres to settle.
Don't take any corners.
Precisely, yeah.
Just straight line it. No, don't do that. But yeah. Oh, he's round again at the hairpin. Oh, I feel so bad for him. Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm going to come off him and not let him spin anymore. Maybe that's why he's spinning.
No, that's fine. I am on board with Single Track, who, fingers crossed, his car isn't a spooky go, so fingers crossed he is back in the session.
He is. He says he's got no setup, though.
Okay, so...
Which is an awful thing for him, I can assure you.
But you've got a lot of laps to get used to the car and how it's going to feel. Sometimes setup is just all about... It's going to cost him a few tenths, so it's not going to feel optimal. It's all valuable time on track. He does seem to be a little bit stuck behind Lorpy at the moment. Hasn't quite got the straight line speed to get it done, even though if he's looking the racier and the more confident the cars. Look at how he's all up the gearbox through the S's. That's where you can make so much time up, particularly if you're on a softer tyre or you're more confident. But I tend to find that cars are set up better for Sector 1, struggle in Sectors 2 and 3, where it's all about more outright pace. This is a very slow car. It might be the white car, it might be Bit or Jackster, just allowing a few people through. It's the closest battle on track. I tell you what, who else is making a few moves? Look at that gap. Oh, sorry, we've got two cars side by side, Single Track and Lorby thinking about it into the hairpin, and Single Track's going to have the better exit, and that is P8. What an excellent move. He really worked for that one. Lorby's going to think about coming back here as he goes to the inside into 130R, and oh boy, they're still side by side. I thought might have got the job done and it was thank you very much, but no, it's Lorpy who comes back through, so yeah, maybe that setup change isn't working that well for Martin, who needs to be back in a Red Bull and find the form that he did on Wednesday night.
Yeah, a lot of drivers have had a lot of bad luck in this race, sadly so far, and I think we may see a lot of this in stewards as well, sadly, because there's been a few bits of contact, but I guess what people need to remember is that this is the first time these guys have raced at this track in 2 seasons now, so this is a learning curve as much as anything else. But look at that gap at the front.
Yeah, Xavier had a really good look up into turn 1 and there he wasn't quite there, but he's made up the time so easily. I thought Kid Dynamite, maybe there was potential for him to go up the road, but it just hasn't happened. And now we're going to see these two Titans, but it's Jackster, unfortunately, who's retired from the session. So that's not going to do his championship any good. It does look like it. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have any safety cars, so that rest of the field will bunch up once more. This battle up the front, though, Xavier and Kid Dynamite, and you can't leave him out. Look who else is creeping back in there, only 1.2 seconds behind. Chris Bailey He's found his pace around here. He'll want these two up front to slow each other down, to battle all they want, and that'll just give him time on those older medium tyres to get into the hunt as well.
Yeah, he's obviously going to have to box before these guys, but I'd say that could spring an undercut for him, and the only issue for him is Kid and Saviour will have fast tyres come the end of this race. But a safety car could really play into the hands of the likes of Chris Bailey and people like that. If one comes out at the right time, Taylor Soze could really gain from it too.
So look at this camera angle now. We're looking at Saviour, but I think we're looking in the wrong direction. As you see that gap come down, he's making a move on Kid Dynamite. He's going to be the last of the late breakers. He's gone round the outside, and he's made it stick. Is there a twitch? No, there isn't. It's a very clean move, and behind we see G-Star go up past Kaiser Soze. So now our top four are, I think, pretty much the top four in the Elite Championship.
So it's taken them 17 laps to go from last to first. But can I just say something else? Saviour, to go round the out. Oh, Kid's in the wall!
Oh, he is! I don't know what happened if there was contact between him and Bailey, but all of a sudden, let's see if there's any damage on that car. I can't see any obvious on the wing. There might be a little bit, but
I think he may have just about kept the front wing out of it, but he seems to have got away with it just about. But I was going to say, you have to be up very early in the morning to get round the outside of Kid Dynamite, and Saviour pulled it off, but wow, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, no, a big shame for our former race leader who finds himself down in 7th place. I was just having a look. I thought Kid would be higher up the standings. He hasn't appeared that much in the Elite Championship, so he's down in 15th place in the Challenger. So it is the top three: G-Star, Chris Bailey, Saviour. Now, also the top three in a slightly different order at the top of our race. So this is all vital stuff for the championship. And they've come together. Give them a 100% race. Put them at the back of the grid. It don't matter. By lap 17, they are up the front and normal service has been resumed. Fascinating racing.
Mark has just got past Ghost Rider into P12, so Mark is making his way back up slowly. Mark could do with a safety car though, because from back Mazo back to Donny, that's a big gap at the moment.
Yeah, he's had a very unfortunate, wasn't it, on the restart, having that incident, having to go to off strategy into the pits. We see Kid Dynamite blast past Scottish Ninja. He's done it in the past. Now he knows the best overtaking opportunities, and he is back up into P6. Yeah, talking about poor old Mark Hodgson. Had such a good start, let it all go away, and he hasn't had the benefit of the safety car. If anything, he was starting 20 seconds down on the rest of the field. He's just got his head down, got into a rhythm, and I feel we've just come from Hungary. I think Japan is another track where it's all about rhythm, lap time, getting into a flow as we see. Oh, is that Scottish Ninja? He's just spun. He's out. He's spurred right to the barrier. He got a rear wing on the grass. It's only one single yellow in sector 1 as we see cars fly by. Yeah, no safety car triggered. So once again, lucky
that's
if you're
rare
at top.
For this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think, that's so gutting. He was up in P2 for the Challenger boys as well. Oh, he's going to be kicking himself, I think.
Yeah, it's just the danger. It's so the S's are really satisfying as we
Safety
finally.
Car.
It's had a while to think about it, hasn't it? But it's decided no, that's a safety car. And what would you do if you're the race leader? Where is Saviour on track? He's just coming up to the pit stop now. Do you go in? Do you stay out?
I would stay out if I was Saviour. Or actually, would I maybe commit to a 2-stop, because Chris is going to take this pit stop, surely. Yeah, Saviour's in. Surely Chris is as well, because he's on the mediums. So I think they kind of got forced with no choice, and we have been joined by a Scottish man.
I'm very sorry to intrude. The reason I want to intrude is the lobby is very glitched, because I have people are all over this place, and I don't know whether it's both me and Mark on the other chat are seeing something different, and it's very strange. So I just wanted to jump on with you boys just to see what was maybe truly happening.
Well, for us, it's Saviour's in the lead. He's just covered the pits and put softs on, which is great.
Okay.
And then single track, Chris Bailey, G-Star, back Mazo's decided to cut some grass.
So where, can I just ask a question, where do you see me at the moment and Mark?
P15, and Mark is in P12, just been overtaken by Ghost Rider. Mark's now in the pits.
Okay, because Mark's right in front of me on track, just coming up to spin.
Oh god,
so,
yeah, okay, there might be a
now
glitch
Mark's
then.
just, okay, so Mark's now just disappeared completely from in front of me, literally vanished.
I wonder if maybe you're having internet issues potentially because Mark's in the pits. He's just coming out now. So, I mean, since Simba left, Ghost Rider got kicked, and I can't now invite him back. So,
yeah, because someone's. I think since Simba left, it probably destabilised the lobby slightly, if I'm being honest. But
maybe a little bit, but I think there's been no other complaints from the guys out front.
Okay. As I said, just whilst we're under safety car, just wanted to try and gauge an idea, because, yeah.
Are you in P15 though?
Right now, yes, I've got. No, yes, so I've got Carl shown in front of me and G-Star.
Behind.
Yes.
G-Star's all the way up in P4.
Okay, G-Star's shown in 13th.
Yeah, he's in P4, but you should have Carl in front of you, Nuts behind you.
I've got Carl in front of me, but... So where... And again, apologies, ladies and gentlemen, for this kind of live extraction of human DNA on stream. Can you just go on stream and look at my car and tell me where I am?
You're just going under the bridge now?
Yep. Can you see two cars in front of me, one of them being Loppy?
No.
No, Carl is just going through the hairpin about maybe a second and a half ahead of you.
Because I've got Loppy and back Mazo.
No, so Carl is currently 4.6 ahead of you, and he's just coming through Spoon, and you're just coming up to Spoon.
So you can see no cars between me and him?
No.
Because I've got back Mazo leading.
That Mazo is currently P5.
It might just be, if anybody else who is racing at the moment, obviously on the safety car, so if they're pausing, they can go into the YouTube tab and let us know
we've just
seen
spree. So it just migrated host again. We've just migrated host again. Because Scottish Ninja left the session.
Who's gonna? It's like the lottery. Who's gonna get given it now? Carl's just gone past Mark. Mark's just gone back in the pits, which is Mark should now be the car ahead of you, behind you.
No, Mark's behind.
Yeah.
But I've still got a Loppy and a back Mazo in front of me right now. Anyway, I'll depart. I just wanted to say hello and love Codemasters in EA.
Have fun. You enjoy yourself.
I will do. I'll speak shortly. Enjoy.
Bye.
Wow,
it's always nice to have Gav join us.
It is. That's a whole other meaning. You know, when people just say they're going to race their own race, he's literally in a different race to the one you're observing tonight, but is still on the same track.
What's happening,
he doesn't. So either he's taken some hallucinogens, or more likely the lovely folks at Codemasters and EA have had a slight issue this evening. Fingers crossed. We're going to keep the session going as it stands. We haven't had any more complaints from any other drivers.
I just wonder if it's potentially internet related for Gav.
It could be. Maybe he's just the one who's got unlucky, but the field is now down to 16 drivers. We've unfortunately had Scottish Ninja DNF on us. Let's see if we're going to have a late safety car call. It was a late call to get the safety car out on track. Are we going to see it?
The race really quickly. What's interesting is Saviour's committed to a 2-stop.
Yeah, which I don't think is the worst. I think the potential
that's go ahead. On the hard go to the end.
Yeah, well, I think Bailey is committed to a 1-stop, medium, hard, and those hards probably can go 33. Saviour's on a 2-stop, but he's got the most important thing. He's got clear air. And Bailey has single track. Martin, who's decided to stay out on the hard tyre in between him and Bailey. So Saviour's going to want to pull a gap as big as possible and then see where he goes. Unfortunately, we've had Night Shadow. It's just said that he's left the session. So that's another one to the list. He's a spooky ghost. Fingers crossed he can get back in.
5 seconds ignoring yellow flags. That may have been decent. Bless him. Oh no, so Gav's actually left the session, so maybe that confirms an internet issue.
We will see, and of course, if you are glitching, and let's see what the penalty situation is at the moment. We've got 3 seconds for Black Mazo, 5 for Kid, 3 for Lorthy, 5 for Night Shadow. If you have been affected by any glitch, do take a recording of your session, show it to us in the stewards And we're more than happy to have a look at that and see if we can get it
contact
removed.
with anyone, I'm sure we can sort something out, because having contact while desync, we do get a lot of desync issues that we see in this during as well, don't we, Rob? So
It
it's
is
not
bi-
an irregular.
It is bizarre. It used to happen on the previous games, and you'd have people furious saying, "What on earth is that chap doing?" And then you'd look at that chap's screen, and there just wasn't another car on it anywhere. The reason it felt like he was driving into nothing is because he was, because the game had such a big desync issue. So it is unfortunate. It's unfortunate it happens in these 100% races as well.
I remember once in season 7, there was a driver absolutely furious, claiming that I hit him into a wall into turn 2. I go onto my footage and I'm nowhere near him.
Yeah.
I was like, trust me, it wasn't me, mate. I promise you. But on his screen, it was me. But on mine, I'm about a second behind.
Yeah.
So
fingers crossed we don't get any. Everybody's being very well behaved under the safety car. So that leads me maybe to think that we haven't got many issues. Safety car is in this lap, so let's go on board with Saviour. Of course, he's on fresh tyres. Everybody's going to have a lot of ERS to use as well. We won't have any DRS until 2 laps time. There's clouds up overhead. I'm looking at them. It's cloudy. It's not been a bright sunny day. I wonder if we are going to have maybe a smattering of rain towards the end of this 100%. That certainly would spice it up. But for now, we're on board. Where is Saviour going to go? He's still warming up the tyres, and it's only now that he starts to put the pedal to the metal. Oh, but it's single track still. He saw that one coming, and even on those 19-lap-old hards, he's all over the back. And you've got Bailey as well. I wonder if Bailey's going to try the banzai move into turn 1. No, he isn't. And actually, it's Kaiser Soze and back Mazo who are going head-to-head through turn 1. You're going to leave the space there, but it's back Mazo comes up in 5th place. Kaiser Soze still down in 6th. And we've got a Gav joining the party.
Yes, we race directors have red flagged the race, boys. Lobby is very glitched.
Ooh, okay.
So we are on a red flag situation, and we'll restart, but we'll be on a 50% race distance with the grid as was at the end of that safety car.
Okay, lovely. So if you're listening, please, leave the session, and we will be back with you very shortly. I will look to host it. Or, we'll sort that out just shortly. Okay, excellent.
No worries.
Right, well, thank you everyone for joining us so far. We will be back in about 10 to 15 minutes. Don't change that dial. See you later. Bye.